clock on the kitchen wall read 9 p.m. I was sitting at the oak table, the glow of the laptop screen reflecting off my tired face, a lukewarm coffee cup beside a stack of invoices. I was doing what I always did, making the numbers behave. My name is Ethan, and I'm a structural engineer. I build things that last. Our house, the one I'd poured my savings and 7 years of sweat equity into, was solid. Our life, I was slowly realizing, was built on sand. My wife, Savannah, wasn't home. She was out, as she often was these days, with her new friend group. I knew what that meant. A quick scroll through her public Instagram confirmed it. A high-angle selfie, a champagne flute raised, the backdrop a rooftop bar I couldn't afford on my current project's margins. Her caption was always something airy. Living my best life, darling. Cheers to good vibes and no budget. Our budget was a battlefield, and I was the lone, weary soldier. The sound of an expensive European sports car, not mine, pulling up outside always made my jaw tighten. The car's engine was a low, self-satisfied rumble. A minute later, the front door swung open and Savannah sashayed in, smelling of a fragrance I didn't recognize and something else. A heady, sweet musk of money not earned by her. Her dress, a slick black number that probably cost more than my first 2 mortgage payments combined, shimmered under the foyer light. Behind her, a guy, young, too young. His hair was meticulously tousled. His watch looked like it could buy my truck, and his smile was a white flash of entitlement. This was Julian, the latest investor in Savannah's non-existent art career. "Oh, Ethan, you're still up," Savannah said, her tone a perfect blend of surprise and mild annoyance. Like I was a piece of furniture she'd forgotten to move. "Just wrapping up the Q3 budget review, Sav," I said, keeping my voice level. I didn't get up. I just looked from her to Julian, then back to the spreadsheet on my screen. Specifically the line item for discretionary spending, which was now bleeding red ink for the 4th consecutive month. Julian just leaned against the doorframe, a smirk playing on his lips. He didn't offer a handshake. He offered condescension. "Budget review? Rough life, man. My advisor just sends me a text if the yacht needs new upholstery. That's my only budget concern." He laughed and Savannah joined in, a sound like wind chimes in a hurricane. Savannah put a hand on Julian's silk-covered arm. "Julian, this is Ethan. Ethan, Julian's family owns, well, basically half of Miami real estate." Her emphasis on half of Miami was a theatrical flourish meant to contrast Julian's effortless wealth with my meticulously earned middle class stability. "Right, the engineer," Julian drawled, his eyes flicking over my simple work shirt. He made engineer sound like janitor. "So you build the foundations for people like us to enjoy the view, huh? Necessary work, I suppose." The insult was clear, a deliberate, cheap shot. But the real sting came from Savannah. She didn't contradict him. She just patted his arm and said, "He's a genius with numbers, Julian. Just not big numbers." I closed the laptop with a quiet, decisive click. "It's a different kind of math, Julian. It's the kind where you have to subtract before you can add. Something people who have everything handed to them never quite grasp." Savannah rolled her eyes, the familiar sign that I was ruining the moment. "Don't start, Ethan. It's late." Julian was just dropping me off. "We were discussing a gallery opportunity in South Beach. It's a huge networking chance. At 9 p.m. on a Tuesday with champagne?" I looked at Julian. "Does the gallery owner know the market's softening?" Julian finally dropped the smirk, a flash of irritation crossing his face. "Look, man, I just drove your wife home. She needed a lift. You seem stressed. Maybe you should work less and let her relax more. She's too good for all this stress." He gestured around our tasteful but modest living room like it was a slum. "I work so we can have a solid life, Julian. Savannah relaxes by spending the stability I build." I stood up then, forcing him to meet my height. "Good night, Julian. Don't worry about her next lift. I'll handle all her future transportation needs." Savannah's eyes narrowed as Julian shrugged and walked out, his expensive leather shoes squeaking on our polished wood floor. She waited until the purr of his car was gone before turning on me, hands on her hips. "What was that, Ethan? You were completely rude. You act like a jealous old man. He's a friend, a connection." He was complimenting my ambition. "He was calling me useless, Sav, and you agreed with him. You are. You're stuck. You've been on the same project for a year. That little nest egg you're so proud of is a joke to Julian and his friends. You want me to live in this perpetual state of almost wealthy? I want to live now." He was offering to help me, And you scare him off with your petty small-time spreadsheets and your lectures." Her voice had risen to a furious whisper. I walked over to the stack of mail by the door. I picked up a delicate, cream-colored envelope, a bill for a bespoke handbag I'd just seen in the online statement, $4,800. I slid it across the table to her. "Your latest purchase, Savannah." "Almost $5,000, when you told me you were going to scale back. When you said you understood my concerns about the deferred bonuses." I tapped the envelope. "Julian's help is costing me my future. And yours." She snatched the envelope. "It was an investment piece. It holds its value. You just don't understand luxury." "You don't understand me!" "You never have. You're just a machine, Ethan. A machine that builds walls around your money and calls it a life." Her words hit me with the familiar dull thud of a truth I'd been avoiding. She wasn't wrong about the walls, but they were there to protect us, not trap her. "The machine is powering the lights, Sav, and the mortgage, and your investment pieces. From now on, the machine is recalibrating." "Oh, here we go," she scoffed, heading toward the stairs. "Another lecture. Another budget meeting. Just run your stupid little numbers, Ethan. I'm tired. And honestly, you're exhausting. Your whole life is about what we can't do." She walked away, the scent of her expensive perfume lingering, a ghost of the life she wanted to lead. I sat back down, opened the laptop again, but I didn't look at the budget. I went to the bank's portal. I didn't pause the card, not yet. I just downloaded the last 6 months of her independent spending, the charges to luxury boutiques, the spa memberships, the high-end travel agencies, and categorized every dollar. Julian called me the engineer. I was about to execute a strategic demolition. I needed absolute clarity, an undeniable paper trail, before I brought the whole structure down. The first step was documentation. I worked until 4 a.m., the cold, hard logic of the data a better comfort than any marriage I knew. The next few weeks were a performance. I played the part of the tired, slightly emasculated husband, the one who just didn't get his wife's sophisticated needs. I worked longer hours, often taking calls from the garage or my makeshift office in the basement, the one space Savannah never entered, claiming the Wi-Fi was primitive. I let her believe the long hours were about chasing the next big contract, the one that would finally put us in Julian's league. In reality, the long hours were dedicated to my own private project, Operation Clean Slate. I had meticulously tracked her expenditures and, more importantly, her movements. Savannah's gallery opportunity had expanded to investor dinners and client meetings that stretched late into the night. Her phone was always on silent when she was with me, her texts a blur of coded emojis and casual promises of catching up later. I installed a tiny, encrypted tracker, not GPS but a discreet web monitoring tool, on her seldom-used personal tablet, just enough to confirm her frequent visits to Julian's penthouse building's Wi-Fi network and a specific high-end travel booking site. She wasn't just networking. She was planning an escape. I started divesting, quietly, methodically. I rerouted my direct deposit to a new single-person account at a different bank. I liquidated the small shared investment portfolio, the one she always dismissed as pocket change, and moved the capital into a long-term, illiquid trust, listing my brother as the sole trustee until the divorce was finalized. I changed the title on the house, an aggressive but legal maneuver tied to a recent inheritance from my grandmother that was technically separate property. I was using my engineering skill set to make our joint financial existence structurally unsound, ensuring that when it fell, it would only fall on one side. The emotional distance between us was now a chasm. She saw me, but she didn't look. She spoke to me, but only in clipped sentences designed to procure resources or announce her schedule. One Saturday afternoon, I was finishing up installing a new, high-grade server rack in the basement, an upgrade for my freelance work. She came downstairs, a rare occurrence, dressed in workout gear that looked ready for a magazine shoot, not a gym. Honestly, Ethan, what is this obsession with the basement? Are you building a bunker down here? You haven't left this room since yesterday. Julian asked me today if you were ever coming out of your shell. He thinks you're becoming reclusive. Her voice dripped with thinly veiled judgment. I wiped my hands on a cloth. Just securing the infrastructure, Sav. Making sure the foundation is solid. Can't have any unexpected breaches, you know. Breaches? Seriously? You talk like you're running a government agency, not a small engineering consultancy. You're so melodramatic about money. That's why Julian and his peers call men like you the echelon of effort. All work, no payoff. I forced a tight smile. The echelon of effort? I like that. Effort usually beats inherited luck in the long run. I'll keep that in mind. Because I'm tired of waiting for the long run. I'm tired of being an engineer's wife. I should be on a yacht in the Caribbean, not defending a $500 hair appointment because you had a panic attack over a quarterly budget variance. She checked her phone, her eyes lighting up. Gotta run. Big pitch meeting. Might be late. Don't wait up. Pitch meeting for what exactly? A new line of art-inspired handbags? I asked, my voice flat. She glared. You're insufferable. It's a genuine opportunity to showcase my work. Something you wouldn't understand. Your world is so small, Ethan. Just a blueprint and a calculator. She turned to leave, tossing a final cruel barb over her shoulder. Honestly, I don't know why I even bother trying to talk to you. You're useful for one thing, paying the bills. And even that you make miserable. You're just the echo of a good provider. The door slammed upstairs, and I heard her heels clicking quickly across the wood floor, followed by the familiar throaty roar of Julian's car pulling away. The echo of a good provider. That was the line. It was the final structural failure of our marriage. She had no respect for me, only for my wallet. And now, not even that, since Julian's was fatter. I walked over to the new server rack, my fingers tracing the sleek metal. I connected my old phone, a basic model with a prepaid SIM card I'd acquired weeks ago, to the private network I'd set up. The screen lit up with the information from the tablet tracker. Savannah was now 4.7 miles away, stationary at the address of Julian's penthouse. Her last online search? All-inclusive private island resorts for two. It was time. I sat down at the keyboard, the cold, powerful hum of the new machinery a backdrop to my resolve. I had my documentation, the 6 months of reckless spending, the clear evidence of her emotional and physical abandonment, the contempt in her own words. More importantly, I had a plan that would make her all work, no payoff insult feel like an understatement. Julian's yacht could take her anywhere, but it couldn't save her from the logistical reality I was about to create. I started the paperwork. I called my lawyer, a sharp woman named Dana, who specialized in high-asset but quick-trigger cases. Dana, it's Ethan. We're moving to execution phase. Full submission tonight. You're sure? She asked, beyond. I have everything. She just called me an echo of a good provider. It's over. File the petition for divorce first thing tomorrow morning. I want the papers served by noon. I paused. And Dana, I want the final communication from me to be the last thing she hears tonight. The city was asleep. The digital clock on the bedroom nightstand glowed red, 2:17 a.m. I was awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind clear and quiet for the first time in months. The house was a tomb, but for the first time it felt like my tomb, not a cage. I picked up the burner phone I'd kept charged. The call went through. It rang 3 times before she answered, her voice a groggy, annoyed whisper, laced with a distinct layer of post-coital laziness. The faint sound of a muffled R&B track was in the background, along with a deep, slow male exhale. Julian's penthouse, no doubt. Hello? Who is this? Do you know what time it is? Savannah's voice was sharp, not recognizing the burner number. It's Ethan. There was a moment of confused, drunken silence. Then a sudden panicked rustling. Ethan? What the hell? Are you drunk? Why are you calling me at... Where are you? I'm in our bed, Savannah. The one you aren't in. It's a business trip, Ethan. I told you I had to stay late for the pitch. Don't be a child. The lie was automatic, rehearsed, and utterly hollow. No, you're not on a business trip. You're in Julian's penthouse on the 42nd floor, Wi-Fi network Julian's Echelon view. You're planning an all-inclusive trip to the Maldives. You're not a brilliant artist, Sav. You're a high-class escort trading on my stability until someone richer comes along. Which he did. I kept my voice flat, a low, relentless monotone. Her breath hitched. The music in the background stopped abruptly. I heard a muffled whisper, Julian asking what was going on. You're tracking me? You psycho! You creep! I knew you were an obsessive loser. You are so useless. Julian is everything you're not. He actually appreciates my worth. You're just a low-grade engineer who can only build foundations, not skyscrapers. She hissed, dropping the whisper for a full-volume fury that would certainly wake Julian. This was the moment. I didn't get angry. I didn't raise my voice. I leaned into the phone and delivered the cold, hard logic of my final project. You're absolutely right, Savannah. I only build foundations. and I'm only an engineer. But that's all I needed to be to protect my assets from your waste. My lawyer, Dana Sterling, will be serving you divorce papers at Julian's address by noon tomorrow. You have zero community property claim on the house, thanks to a recent inheritance I successfully segregated weeks ago. The joint investment portfolio you called Pocket Change is now an untouchable trust. Your name is off all the primary accounts and credit cards, and your personal debit card is currently frozen. Everything is locked down, sealed, and legally bulletproof. I use the money you called my small numbers to ensure you get nothing of my small life. The silence that followed was thick, complete. It was the sound of a woman realizing her financial safety net wasn't a net at all, but a guillotine. You can't do that. This is my home, my life. This is financial abuse. I'll ruin you. I'll tell everyone you're a monster. The fury was gone, replaced by a desperate tearing sound in her throat. You already did, Sav. You called me useless in front of Julian and his friends. You chose his validation over my respect. You chose his yacht over my effort. You called me an echo of a good provider. And now, that's all you'll hear. An echo. My assets are gone. My presence is gone. You are on your own, right where you wanted to be, with the man who builds skyscrapers on other people's foundations. I paused, letting the silence ring. The divorce is uncontested. Take what's in your bag, and Julian can deal with the rest of your logistics. This is the last time you will hear my voice. Then I disconnected the call. I powered down the burner phone and placed it in a shredder bag I had prepped. The whole conversation, all the vitriol and the finality, was a clean break, a perfectly executed cut. I didn't turn on the light. I didn't move. I just listened to the silence of my home. My revenge wasn't loud or dramatic. It was surgical. I didn't want to make her miserable. I just wanted to make her face the immediate stark reality of her choices, with no safety net left to break her fall. I was the architect of my own peace, and the price of that peace was her comfort. The next morning, I was at work before dawn. I got a text from Dana at 12:03 p.m. Papers served at Julian's address. Reaction was predictable. She's calling you. Do not answer, I didn't need to. I had built a structure that was finally safe. I was the echelon of effort. And her life, for the first time, was about to require a lot of effort.